Joel, let me tell you where I'm at because I've been doing this a long time and I got a lot of questions for you that I know people are thinking about. But so I'm somebody who I started eating a Hippocrates Health Institute type of diet, with a
Mhm.
lot of sprouts and
Mhm.
not much fruit at all. But then I got into, you know, more of the natural hygiene, started eating more fruit, but continued with the Hippocrates way of going. And then I kind of went less, try to cut back on the fat and eat more, kind of like a Hippocrates diet with a little bit of fruit and still eating the sprouts. And in my research, you got the 80-10-10. So I'm trying to do low calorie, just low calorie in general, because I know it's possible and I could do it. The 80-10-10 diet, I'm not uh like going to do because they get enough protein on the 80-10-10 philosophy, but the problem with that is you got to eat an exceedingly high amount of calories to reach that protein need.
And that's right, they don't get enough protein. They get enough protein for a 30 or 40-year-old, but they don't get enough protein for an 80-year-old. And that's what happens to them. Those people on the 80-10-10 degenerate when they get older. You can get your ability to assimilate protein is heightened when you're younger and decreases with aging. So it's not enough. The protein per calorie ratio is too low for as you get older
So
to
what
maintain
where do you
muscle,
get
to
where do you
maintain immune function.
sure where do you get the numbers from in terms of like what is forgetting about the 80-10 for a moment, in terms of what's considered low protein and high protein, where do you get those numbers from? And we're not talking about animal products, because you and I both know that that's not a good source of protein because of all the problems it
Right,
brings
right.
along with it. So, uh, just in general, protein, like where do you get to say 40 grams is high for a 40-year-old and then your needs go up? Where's the starting point of what's considered high or low?
Let's do the numbers. Okay, the numbers are that for most of your life, except for toddlers and the elderly and professional athletes, about 8.8 grams of protein, zero point 0.8 grams of protein per kilogram body mass is enough. And when you're younger, that's fine. And that's based on studies of how much proteins that humans need. Lots of science behind that. You know, Americans get way more than that. They're getting double that amount. But zero point 0.8 is about as we get older. Maybe 1 gram of protein per kilogram of body weight. As we get elderly, for athletes or serious athletes, you want to get 1.2 grams of protein per kilogram body mass. So you can
Well,
do the
let's
math.
talk pounds. These kilograms is
2.2 pounds.
so 2.2 pounds. You want to get so
So say a gram of protein per 2 pounds.
okay, so when I was a teenager, when I was bodybuilding, they were like, "Oh, you want to get one gram of protein per pound of body weight."
No,
Uh,
it's 1 gram of protein per 2 pounds of body weight.
no, I mean when I was
Yeah,
bodybuilding and
yeah,
younger, teenager. That's what.
and you can hear the carnivore, some of these carnivore communities and meat-based communities and bodybuilding communities. They tell people to get a gram of protein per pound of body weight. They're
Yeah,
telling you a
that's what I'm
150
saying.
pound
Yeah,
guy should weigh 150 grams of protein.
that.
That's poisonous. That's urea
So
and
you're saying, I mean, on average, so for every 2 pounds, get 1 gram on average, right?
yes, yes, yes.
Okay, so let's say a guy's 150 pounds, then you want to get at least 75 grams of good plant-based protein.
Correct.
Okay, so now nuts, for example. When I was on a Hippocrates diet, again, I ate so many nuts, more than 2 ounces a day. My fat was high because I'm eating so many nuts. Can you overeat on nuts? Because you say 2 ounces a day, but you talk about high
No, no,
protein.
I'm saying 2 ounces a day for people who are overweight. You and I can eat, thin people burning calories can eat more than that. What about, people who are athletes and people who work physical laborers and
But how much
people
more?
who eat 4 ounces or 5 ounces of nuts a day is
But
okay.
even 5 ounces, I mean, I could sit and eat 2 cups of nuts with no problem. But
Mhm.
is that too much? Where does too much come into play? When does too much come into play?
Well, in my book, it comes into play because vegetables and salad and tomatoes and peppers and sprouts and mushrooms and onions are so protective against cancer and have such longevity profile that you have no appetite left and no remaining calories to eat all the other good stuff. I want a lot of variety in the diet. I'm saying we have this unprecedented opportunity in human history to eat a wide variety of vegetables and beans and sprouts and nuts, and we can eat and different fruits that a variety is good for us, the variety of different foods. Like I don't eat one type of green vegetables, I eat 10 types of green vegetables. If your calories and nuts are going so high, how do you have the caloric room left in your diet to eat all the other things you want to eat? I want to have my, you know what I mean? So
Well, that's
it's
yeah,
just
but me,
having a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and a little bit of that, you know?
but I could eat a salad, and I could easily sit and eat a cup of pistachio nuts. Let's say I could eat a whole cup of them, or macadamia nuts or something.
I would like you to eat, walnuts, flax seeds, chia
But
seeds,
any
hemp seeds,
nuts,
sesame
nuts
seeds.
in general. I could make nut dressings. I could eat a lot of nuts. I'm saying. I mean, what's considered overeating on nuts if you're not an overweight person?
That's a really difficult question. It's difficult because I'm saying I want you to eat enough vegetables. So let's say how much, and I want you to eat fruit too. Even the Women's Healthy Eating and Living study, the Wheel study, showed that the women who ate cruciferous vegetables had the lowest rates, and vegetables had the lowest rates of breast cancer. But those who ate vegetables without fruit didn't live as long and didn't have as low rates of cancers as people who had fruit and the vegetables. Just reinforcing the fact that a variety of different foods in the diet, we have more of a food spectrum of different foods, a more wide inclusion of foods increases your immune system in later life. The point I'm making is, okay, you have so many calories you can eat each day. Um, so let's figure out how much fruit you can eat, how many pieces of fruit. You want to have at least 3 to 5 pieces of fruit a day. So if you can have that many nuts, so let's say you 5 pieces of fruit, how many calories that is. I like people to eat, if you don't want to eat beans cooked, then eat sprouted beans, right?
I was
But
going
eat,
to ask you my next question. I want to talk about legumes and sprouted and non-sprouted. But getting
yeah.
back to the nuts, I pretty much eat. I have a fruit meal and a salad meal. I eat 2 meals a day: a fruit meal and a salad meal.
Right?
And since I reduced nuts, I'm probably way under my protein needs. But I could simply add nuts and still eat the same
Why don't you add
variety.
some beans? Why don't you add the beans?
Well, I eat a lot of sprouted beans. I was going to ask you about beans. I eat a lot of.
Give you calories and
Now,
protein.
what has more I mean, does cooked beans have traditionally more protein than sprouted beans?
Yes, if they do. So you'd
Like,
have to eat more sprouted beans because because they're as it sprouts, it turns a little more into a vegetable. So the bean is concentrated like a seed. You know what I mean? Like a nut. It's more of a concentrated protein. And but you still so you got to eat a lot of. So yeah, I mean you could. I don't think that I'm not so against eating more nuts if your body fat is low. I'm not against you eating fat if your body fat's low. It's the body fat I'm against, not the dietary fat. You don't understand that, right?
yes, yes, yes.
If
So,
you're ripped and your body fat is, 11, 12%, or, and you're strong, then God, great. If you're overeating, then you're gonna get more fat on your body. You know what I mean?